Hey everybody, I'm Christie Ribary. I'm so glad to share a little time with you today. How are you? Today we're going to be talking about resilience. What is it? Why do you need it? How is it defined? How do you build it up? And what are some of the benefits of having resilience? And the reason I chose this particular topic is that actually a few weeks ago I hosted a really special women's event one evening, and our theme there was on resilience, and it really resonated with the women in the audience. And I think it's pretty obvious why right now in this time of COVID, where we're all facing so much uncertainty, setbacks, disappointments, loss of people we care about, loss of income, loss of security, more than ever, we really need to dig into what I call our resilience reserve. And that's that spot inside of our body, our mind, our spirit, where we really can lean into what we've learned in the past, where we dig into that well source of strength. And it propels us forward to keep moving. So today, like I said, we're going to define resilience. We're going to talk about some of the characteristics that resilient people exhibit. We're going to show you some of the ways that people can bolster and solidify, strengthen their, like I call it, their resilience reserve, so that you can start now very proactively building that resilience so that you are more successful, more joyful, more abundant as you're moving through this time of COVID and all this uncertainty. Because the definition of resilience really is the ability to move forward despite very difficult circumstances. It's the ability to continue to persevere, to continue moving despite tremendous difficulty, right? And I think that we all can agree it's different for each of us, but we've all faced tremendous difficulty. It could be feeling very isolated and depressed. It could feel like you've lost your job and you have a lot of financial insecurity. You could be a working mom who's been trying to homeschool and do your day job, and you feel like you're failing at everything and you feel very overwhelmed and you're over it. All of these things are feelings that I'm coaching my clients through currently. I've got people that are very lonely that want to get back to online dating and they don't see an end in sight through this period. I've got people that are trying to start businesses that are really struggling, right? Because they're not sure what the economy is going to be and how they're going to get their business up and running. We're all facing different challenges. And so again, this is when more than ever we need to rely on ourselves and that inner resilience. So the textbook definition of resilience is the ability to move forward and recover after a difficult time. Now, I want to share something Sheryl Sandberg wrote, and all of you know about Sheryl Sandberg. She wrote an interesting thing about resilience that I just love, and boy, oh boy, that woman knows a thing or two about resilience. I think we can agree on that. You are not born with a fixed amount of resilience. Like a muscle, you can build it up. You can draw on it when you need it. And in that process, you will figure out who you really are, and you might just become the very best version of yourself. So in that moment, you might find out who you really are and become the best version of yourself. And the reason I think that quote is so powerful, and it's something that I read often, is that in some of my most difficult times, in some of my most difficult hours of my life, whether it was through loss, when I lost my father when I was 25, or a few years ago when I was going through just a horrendous, hellish time in my personal life, I was going through divorce, I had a lot of struggles, I had depression. Through that time, as difficult as it was in the moment, I really did lean in and rely on my own inner resilience to pull me through a really difficult time, a really sad time, a really dark time. But as I learned more and more and more with each passing day and cultivated some new spiritual tools and some of the things that I coach on, I started actually applying in my own life, things that I was being coached on. But as the more I equipped myself and my resilience and sort of really concentrated on my inner strength, the more I was able to stand and get through things that were very, very difficult in my life. And again, I consider that my flexing at the time of my resilience muscle, even when it was hard, even when things seemed so limited around me as far as my possibilities and potential. So what I'm encouraging you through this to be thinking about is, how do you need more resilience in your life? What is really, really difficult for you right now? And what are the ways that maybe you can draw from things in the past or dig into that inner resilience reserve that you have right now to help propel you through this? And you might just find when you look back at all of this really difficult time, this dark day that you might be having, that the real you emerged. The strong, beautiful, courageous soul that you are is being formed and championed and harnessed right now. So let me tell you a couple of things about as far as characteristics of people with resilience. And the reason I share this is because you might find a couple of those really resonate with you, and they're things that you can build further on in helping you, again, strengthen that resilience muscle. The first one is Characteristics of resilient people: they often have very strong self-esteem and self-efficiency, have a high level of personal goals or intentions. They have a sense of meaningfulness, so they know their life matters, that they mean something, that they have purpose in their life. They can view past stress as a challenge or an opportunity to move forward, can adapt to change. Resilient people have strong relationships and they're able to ask for help. I find that that is something that's really common thematically throughout my group of clients, for example, is that, people, when they want to come to coaching, they realize that they've hit an impasse in their life and that they want to do hard things. They want to make big changes and that they're capable of doing, hard things. I know that's a really popular slogan right now with Glennon Doyle about we can do hard things. We can do hard things. But oftentimes we need the support of a therapist if you're wanting to look back at past issues or psychological issues and resolving kind of unsolved stuff of the past. Or a lot of times people want to lean in on a coach who's going to be focused on the present, the now, and the future, and you're wanting to very actively build something different. Oftentimes you need a coach to do that. If it were easy and you could do it alone, you would have already done it. So whether it's getting help in launching a business, which what I help aspiring entrepreneurs do on the daily, or if it's something like, hey, I've got all these complicated issues and problems that are weighing me down. I don't want to live this way anymore. I want to move that stuff out and live to my highest potential. But I need a little bit of support. I need strong listening ears. I need accountability to get me there. And so again, one of the things about resilient people is that they have a strong sense of purpose and they also are willing to ask for help. The last one is they have a sense of faith, something larger than themselves, something greater than themselves that they connect to. And I think having faith is such a critical thing. Whatever it is that you believe as a spiritual coach, and I'm working with people in my practice, it's not about my faith or what I believe in. Who cares about that? It's about what you believe, darling. How can you connect on a deeper level with your spiritual presence, your God, your spirit, so that that spirit and spiritual connection in your life can strengthen you and your resilience and those steps that you're taking to live a happier, more abundant life and walking your path on a deeper level with your spiritual connection. So those are characteristics of resilient people. Now again, finding that inner resilience, strengthening your resolve, moving out of the tumultuous waters, those are all the things that resilient people are able to do. Even though they've had major setbacks like we're all facing right now, resilient people are able to move past that to continue their big, beautiful lives, right? And so we all need to dig in to our resilience reserve right now to keep going, keep moving. You can, and you've got the strength inside of you. Just channel it. Just channel it and then lean in on those areas that you know that you're already showing similarities of other people that have resilience. Now, the other thing I wanted to share with you is actually just some of the ways that you can foster and grow resilience in your own life. So the first one, you've heard me talk about this a lot through different coaching videos, gratitude journal. It's so simple. I do it every morning. It just takes a couple of minutes. You write down 3 to 5 things that you're really grateful for today in this moment. It goes a long way in building your inner resilience, your gratitude, your joy, your sense of ease. The second one is meditating. Again, that's become very mainstream. It's not woo-woo anymore. You can't even blame it on that. Nobody's good at meditating, so if your head is going crazy when you get into the meditating moment, that's normal. Even people that have been meditating for years and years, I still really struggle to quiet down, even for a couple of minutes in my mind. But it's so powerful to do, and it will help you connect deeper inside and again build that resilience reserve that I keep talking about. So please, if you haven't done meditation before, I really consider you to try it. There are so many simple apps. I mean, you can even tell Alexa these days to do a 2-minute meditation for you, or you can use an app like Calm, or there's so many online. Another one is forgiveness. Just the power of forgiveness and strengthening that muscle of forgiveness helps you build resilience. Self-care, you have heard me talk about this, those of you that are following me or that are coaching clients of mine, friends of mine, or maybe you've attended some of my workshops or seminars. I am such a big believer in self-care, and there were years where self-care for me was like priority negative, right? But you have to care for yourself. You've got to wear your own oxygen mask. You've got to take time for yourself to be happy, to live sustainably, to really show up and do the jobs that you want to do in your life. Maybe that's taking care of others. Certainly that's taking care of yourself. Maybe it's being a good employee, but if you're not doing some basic self-care, if you ever have questions on that, you can always pop back to my website or on Facebook. I have worksheets about how to invest more in yourself, how to start self-care practice, how to do self-care rituals at home for cheap, really just beyond your time that you're committing. So always see me if you ever have a question about how to improve your self-care. And then another way to foster resilience, and this is the last one, is having courageous conversations. And sometimes those mean with yourself, courageous conversations like, what's not going well, where do you really need to tighten things up. But really courageous conversations are also the difficult conversations that you need to have with other people in your life. It could be your spouse. It could be someone that you work with. It could be with a parent who isn't respecting your boundaries. Those courageous conversations, the ones that we don't want to have. But as we have them and we work through those moments with the other person or within ourselves, we build our resilience reserve. We strengthen that muscle. So again, darling, the reason I share about resilience is that we all need it. We all need to be building that resilience muscle inside of ourselves right now so that we can plan now for how we're going to continue to survive, persevere through this time, and then the world is going to be different. We don't even know what it's going to be like when all this stuff hopefully goes back to normal soon. There's so many changes coming our way, and so we need to be resilient in this time of crisis so that we can create our most happy ever after, if you will, when this all goes back to normal. But if you're not doing the inner work now, you may not be prepared for what it's all going to look like when we get there. So start working, nurturing that resilience reserve inside of yourself now. Take good care. Thanks so much for sharing time with me today. And if you'd like to talk, you can always schedule a 30-minute conversation with me if you want to talk about resilience or self-care, what coaching might look like for you, and how that can support you in your dreams and your alignment to your purpose or starting your business. Reach out and let me know. Bye-bye.